Hey friends, this is Brown Mary from Earth 3. Mary Trump is not feeling well today, so I've stepped in. You can call me Watch or you can call me Brown Mary, and I want off this timeline, folks. I want to go back to my Earth 1. In this timeline, we have a decaying, decrepit fascist, 79-year-old Donald Trump with a remarkable ability to grift as he is sinking the country and immersed in scandals. On today's show, we're going to talk about how this grifter is helping the oligarchy with his crypto bill, but at the same time, he's losing some Nazis as he's gaining some other ones. Yep, we can chew and walk at the same time on the Mary Trump Show. We're going to talk about it all and the Epstein scandal. Let's dive in. Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. Listen, we're going to keep it spicy today. We're going to keep it a bit light to mock and ridicule these evil crypto bros and grifters and racists who are trying to destroy our country. We're going to keep it like Tina and Ike. We're not going to do it nice and easy. We're going to do it nice and rough. And like the great late Bernie Mac, we're not here for any foolishness. So if you want me to both sides it, not going to happen. And if you want me to, massage the truth, not going to happen. Why? Because our democracy is at risk, as is our economy. And I'm joined by DJ Lexi. Mercedes has a day off, so Lexi is joining us, and she's going to be highlighting some of your comments. Thanks all for joining. Susan's always here. Susan Thompson, I don't know if you ever sleep, but thank you for being one of the best moderators. Folks, we'll talk about Epstein scandal, don't you worry. But first, again, this man is a grifter. Donald Trump has always been a grifter. Donald Trump always cares about Donald Trump. It's all transactional for him. He loves money, more. He always wants more. He has an insatiable appetite. And as MAGA is rooted in racism, I always want people to remember, it's also rooted in greed. The Trump administration has the more billionaires than any other administration in history, right? It's the world's richest administration. You got Howard Lutnick, billionaire. You got Linda McMahon, billionaire. You got a rich dude, RFK. You got Elon Musk, who gave $300 million to get access to the presidency, and through Doge and his teenage incels, take a chainsaw to our government. So right now, folks, the United States, within 6 months of Trump's presidency, has downgraded its credit rating. We all have credit ratings, right? The FICO score. Moody's, for the first time in history, has downgraded the U.S. credit rating, all right? Things aren't looking good. Inflation numbers came out, not looking good. Price of eggs was supposed to go down, still up. Trade wars, disastrous. Zero trade deals. Our allies are turning away from us. He just signed the big, beautiful bill, which is the billionaire bill, which adds $3.3 trillion to the debt, permanent tax cuts to the richest people on earth, and guts $1 trillion from Medicaid, and also cuts SNAP benefits. So you think maybe this administration, this Trump administration, the MAGA movement that promised to drain the swamp and help the little guy on Main Street, maybe, I don't know, they'd sign some legislation to help ordinary folks, get Medicaid. Nope. Today, Donald Trump had a signing ceremony for, can't make this shit up, the Genius Act, a cryptocurrency piece of legislation. Once again, Donald Trump soils not just his diapers, but the White House, as this is officially the first ever piece of crypto legislation in the United States. Because I'm sure all of you have crypto, right? Tell me in the comments. I'm seeing all of you. Who here has crypto? Just sitting there making money off of crypto. I don't, folks. Lexi, you got crypto? You're making bank off crypto? Nope. Lexi says no. Can't make this shit up. He has the crypto team, the oligarchy surrounding him, sycophants applauding the Genius Act. And our friend Aaron Rupar at Public Notice, go subscribe to him. He does great work. He saw a photo of the bill signing ceremony, and this is how he described it. They're trying to set a record for the most white guys in suits in one shot ever. And Lexi, just stay on that shot. Even on this, they failed. Because I'm looking at the left, you could have squeezed 2 more whites. There could have been at least 2, maybe 3. If there were some immigrants there, children of immigrants, we would have at least squeezed 5 more brown folks and black folks there. Look at all the white men in suits. Oh, they're smiling. They're smiling like pigs in mud. Folks, this is the base. The base are racists, but also the broligarchy, the twin sins of America, racism and greed as manifested through Donald Trump. As people are literally freaking out about losing Medicaid, he signs the Genius Act. All right. I'm looking. How many folks have crypto? Exactly. Most of you don't got it. Most of you don't. I don't have it either, folks. I don't have it either. Oops. Sucks to be us. But at least we have Medicaid. Oh, shit. We probably won't even have that after the midterms as well. You could take solace in one thing. I'm trying to find some silver linings here, folks. As he was at the ceremony and getting verbal fellatio from all these rich white men who know they can just write him to more and more money, he tried to put on a brave face, right? Trying to distract temporarily from the Epstein scandal. But folks, it was a very, very, very tired, brave face. Folks, Donald Trump is the oldest man to ever be elected president. He just turned 79. In addition to these veins that he has, the vein problem, which happens to people who are older, he's also got cankles. He has also spent the first 6 months of his presidency golfing 25% of the time. He's only taken about 14 security briefings. We have him on camera literally asking his team, what am I signing, as he signs the executive bill. He openly said on the camera he doesn't know what the Congo is. He doesn't look right. He doesn't look well. And this week in particular has been a straining week for Donald Trump. Oh, he has been going through a lot of posting on Truth Social with his thumbs. It zaps you out of energy. So much so that take a look at a clip and you all tell me what he's talking about right now, because Lexi and I had no idea.
But he spoke totally fluent Japanese. I said, that's very impressive. And he was introducing me to Mr. Honda. I said, oh, are you in the car business? He goes, yes. I said, you're a very rich man. And then he said, Mr. Toyota, right? Toyota. And I said, what business are you in? Let me guess. He said, cars. He was my interpreter. And I was so impressed. And I was getting ready to leave. He said, sir, I'd like to run for the United States Senate. I said, where are you from? He said, Tennessee. I said, well, I love Tennessee, but do they know you there? No, but if you endorse me, I'll win.
Yeah, you ever see that 1980s movie by Ron Howard, Gung Ho? Totally dated, by the way, with that type of racist, anti-Japanese sentiment. Yeah, I think he's stuck in 1986 Gung Ho with Toyota and Honda. I don't know what he's talking about, but that's what he said at the Genius Act signing, where he's making the rich white folks more money with crypto. Because, we all got crypto. Mercedes has joined us as well. Hey, Mercedes, we got Lexi and Mercedes joining us. I see you, Mercedes. You can't hide from me. But folks, you gotta, we have to take the wins where we can. Let's laugh at him and mock at him, because fascists hate being mocked at. Before he headed off to, I think, a nap time, he delivered another statement, essentially mocking himself without realizing it. Lexi, play that clip.
They didn't want to be tariffed to there. It's amazing. No, we're not going to let the dollar slide. If we have a smart president, you're never going to let the dollar slide. If you have a dummy, that could happen. Like the last one, if you ever asked him about the dollar sliding, he would have no idea.
If you have a dummy as a president, he'll let the dollar slide. That's what he said. Well, folks, here's some news. The U.S. dollar has the worst first half in more than 50 years amid Trump's reckless, stupid tariffs and trade wars. In 2025, the dollar has fallen by nearly 11% against other major currencies and has suffered the worst performance over the first 6 months of any year since 1973. And if you've been following the broligarchy, specifically Elon Musk and Thiel and all the crypto bros, they want this. They want the dollar to collapse. Why? So that crypto replaces the dollar as the main currency. But Donald Trump, it's too much for him. He gets a bit confused. He said this at the cryptocurrency legislation signing without realizing that under his tenure, Moody's, again, has downgraded the U.S. credit rating. The dollar has slid. Our allies are turning against us. Prices are up. Inflation numbers are bad. And after that rousing performance, he was supposed to take questions from the press. Where'd he go? Oh, look, he just ambled off. Must have forgotten. It's okay. He's had a lot on his mind. And a lot on his mind is Epstein, and he wants to distract. But folks, we can walk and chew gum at the same time. He's a fascist. He's a wannabe fascist. He's an authoritarian. And I want to remind folks that what authoritarians do, the authoritarian playbook, is once they get in power, they want to cancel or silence the opposition. So what they usually try to do is neuter any institution that can hold them accountable. So they pack the courts. Sound familiar? What they also do is go against the enemy of the state. Stalin's words, against critical media. They want to shut down media, cancel media, threaten media, or replace media with sycophants and reeks. And folks, some terrible news last night, two terrible pieces of news. Two institutions, if you will, were being gutted. I'm old enough to remember, I got the gray hair, where I was when I saw David Letterman move to CBS, and his first guest was Bill Murray on The Late Show with David Letterman that premiered on CBS 33 years ago. I was about 11 or 12 years old. You all remember that? We remember that. Well, yesterday, announced that Stephen Colbert, folks, his show is being canceled. Now, why is his show being canceled? Is it because of bad ratings? No, we have an update, breaking news. So Mercedes added some info to the script. Oh, okay. Is this on Epstein, Lexi? Great. All right. I just got a note that we have some breaking news on Epstein. We'll get to that in a second. Yesterday, folks, Stephen Colbert announced that CBS was canceling his show. CBS says it's due to ratings. I'm a bit skeptical. Why? Guess who has the highest ratings? Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Fallon, or Jimmy Kimmel? Want to take a guess? Stephen Colbert. A couple of days ago, Stephen Colbert on his show, and God bless Stephen Colbert, he's been against Trump for the past 10 years. Stephen Colbert called out his own company, Paramount, that owns CBS. And specifically, he called out Paramount for bribing Donald Trump. Now, I just want to connect the dots for folks. There is a merger pending between Paramount, which owns CBS, and Skydance. Skydance, which, by the way, was created by another billionaire bro, Larry Ellison, who wants to live forever. But I digress. Sherry Redstone doesn't care at all about her legacy or CBS. She wants that merger to go through. But someone can stop that merger. His name is Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is transactional. So Donald Trump has sued CBS with a bullshit lawsuit for billions of dollars, right? Because they didn't like, him and Musk didn't like a Kamala Harris interview. And they said they edited it in a wrong way. Bullshit lawsuit that could be easily dismissed in the court of law if CBS spent a little bit of money and fought it. Instead, CBS said, oh, no, we know that you're transactional. So let's give you $20 million. And Trump said, I want $25 million in an apology. And they said, all right, how about $16 million? Trump said, fine, I'll take $60 million. And Stephen Colbert called out his own company. Voila, a couple of days later, it's announced that The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, he's not being replaced. The entire show is being canceled. They blamed ratings, even though he is number one in the ratings. Gutfield beats him out on Fox. I don't count Gutfield, all right? Lexi, is that okay? As a fact check, we don't count Gutfield, all right? He's beating Fallon, and he's beating Kimmel, all right? So all of us are like, this seems political, and I'm not the only one. Today, the Writers Guild of America, and good on the Writers Guild of America, is calling for an investigation into the cancellation of Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Specifically, they think it's highly suspicious that right after Colbert admonished his parent company for caving into Donald Trump, and as Donald Trump has attacked media, they have all of a sudden canceled Colbert. The East and West Coast WGA branches called on New York's Attorney General Letitia James to investigate the motives behind the cancellation in a letter. It read in part, quote, Paramount's recent capitulation to President Trump in the CBS News lawsuit has significant concerns that the Late Show's cancellation is a bribe. I'm so glad they're using that word. Sacrificing free speech to curry favor with the Trump administration as the company looks for merger approval. I also appreciate the Curry reference, some DI there. Donald Trump, because he has to speak, because he can't shut the F up, posted on his pathetic, broke down Twitter, celebrating Colbert getting fired, and furthermore saying, and I quote, I hear Jimmy Kimmel's next. What more do you need to see, folks? I want to connect the dots. A couple months ago, Bill Owens, longtime executive producer of 60 Minutes, right? The jewel of CBS News, resigned. He voluntarily resigned out of protest and to warn his colleagues in the media, right? He was warning, he was sending out the warning flare. Hey, do not bend the knee. He opposed the parent company intruding into 60 Minutes editorial guidelines, specifically when it came to criticizing Donald Trump and the Israel-Palestine war. He resigns. Folks, that was a big deal. If you don't follow media news, CBS, specifically 60 Minutes, over its storied nearly 60-year history, has only had 3 executive producers. Bill Owens was the 3rd. After Bill Owens resigns, the company forcibly forces the resignation of the CBS news chief because she wasn't bending the knee. Then they capitulate on a bullshit lawsuit that they easily would have won. Thank you, Anne-Marie, for the $2 goes a long way. And they gave Donald Trump $16 million. Who else has capitulated? ABC. They threw George Stephanopoulos under the bus. They should have fought that case. They would have won. George Stephanopoulos used the word rape instead of sexual assault in describing Donald Trump being indicted and held liable for E. Jean Carroll's sexual assault and defamation. The judge in the case said those terms are essentially interchangeable. They would have easily won the case, paid him off millions of dollars. Who else paid him off millions of dollars in a lawsuit? CNN. Corporate media is bending the knee. We have always said on Nerd Avengers on Mary Trump Media, because the North Star of corporate media is not the truth. It is what? Ratings, money, and influence, access to influence and power. I worked at CNN for a year. I was part of the New York Times contributing op writer staff for 5 years. It's about the dollar. That's the North Star. And this is so shameless and so naked and so transparent that they're openly telling us it's for ratings, even though Stephen Colbert has higher ratings than Fallon and Kimmel. Folks, they're bending the knee. They're paving the road to fascism. I've been calling it for years. I've been saying on Mary's show that corporate America will lay out the red carpet for Donald Trump. It's happened before. It happened during Nazi Germany. The industrialists went along with Hitler. Why? Because it was good for business. But some of them ended up being hanged for war crimes. So just saying. Folks, also last night, if it wasn't clear enough, MAGA went ahead with its long dream of gutting NPR and PBS. Officially, Republicans voted to cut federal funding from NPR and PBS. Huge loss. I grew up watching PBS. I grew up watching Sesame Street. Lexi, you did as well. You know, Alphabet, Big Bird. Now apparently kids are going to learn from Skibbity Toilet and Kash Patel's children's book. Not making up. The mother effer has a children's book. And the reason why they did it was because they kept saying NPR and PBS are biased because they're not promoting MAGA propaganda. They've been doing this again and again and again. I call it affirmative action for conservative media, right? It happens on CNN with Scott Jennings and Rick Santorum getting paid the hundreds of thousands of dollars to just sit there and spew BS. And then New York Times always has to have a conservative commentator, right? But you can't have a progressive commentator, right? The corporate media always bends the knee and does a both sides framing, which does what? Shifts the Overton window to the right. And it's never enough. They're never placated, right? Are they happy now? Do they love Jake Tapper at CNN? No, they mock him. They still call them part of the deep state. They still call them part of what? The enemies of the people. They still call them part of a pedophile ring. That's part of the Epstein QAnon conspiracy, folks. Look at what they make you give, to quote the Bourne Identity. Look at what they make you give. So I'm not paid by PBS. I'm not paid by NPR. If you can, folks, go donate right now. They do great work. I know a lot of those folks. It's great programming. So many Americans depend on NPR and PBS just to get the news. And that's what's behind all this, folks. Don't look at the salaries. I know people might say, oh, Colbert will be fine, and some of these big stars on NPR and PBS will be fine. That's not what's happening. A fascist wants to control the narrative. A fascist wants state propaganda. A fascist wants to eliminate all dissent. This is why they're attacking universities, judges, CBS, NPR, PBS, CNN, and they're going to go after independent media too. They want to neutralize any threats, and they want state propaganda and conspiracy theories to control the narrative. That is what is happening, people, which is why for all those people who are watching right now, the 4,200, for the people who tune in to Mary Trump, for the people who aren't subscribers, the bastion that's left for truth, the bastion that's left to speak out against the bullshit, the bastion that's left to not do both sides. The bastion that's left to call out white supremacy, greed, the oligarchy, fascism is independent media. It's up to us. So we're trying to do the work. If you're tuning in for the first time, or if you tune in for the second or third time and you haven't become a subscriber, please subscribe. It's for free. All the super chatters, your money goes a long way. And please subscribe to the Substack, my Substack, Mary's Substack. It goes a long way, folks. But we try to keep it real. We try to keep it honest. Does the WGA have a case? I don't know. I'm very skeptical. But the fact that the Writers Guild is using the B word, bribe, and the fact that they're fighting on behalf of Stephen Colbert, that's what we need. You need all hands on deck, 10 toes down. Every single act of resistance, folks, is what I call a death by 1,000 cuts, right? And everyone thinks there'll be a haymaker that'll take out Donald Trump and fascism. It never works that way. It's cut by cut by cut by cut by cut by cut. And so far, those cuts are adding up because Donald Trump is underwater, my friends. He's underwater. Last week, a poll came out, Gallup poll, his one signature strong issue, immigration. Within 6 months, this country has flipped. He's down double digits because people didn't vote for their grandma and grandpa to be detained and freaking deported. People didn't vote for workers to be abducted. People didn't vote for ICE agents, masked ICE agents to show up at schools, right? People didn't vote for ICE agents to work with the military to terrorize the city of LA and then 300 Marines to be unleashed in Florida, all right? He's underwater on immigration. He's underwater on Kilmar Abrego Garcia. He's underwater on tariffs. He's underwater on the economy. He's underwater on inflation. He is underwater, right? And it's only been 6 months. The generational damage. But I believe that he will never leave willingly. I believe, I've said this before, that this is a man you should take literally and seriously. This is a man who incited a violent insurrection. This is a man who pardoned the insurrectionists. This is a man who's made yes men conspiracy theorists with zero experience, but there are reeks like Pete Hegseth, and Kash Patel, and Dan Bongino, and Pam Bondi as his right-hand men and women. The guardrails are now gone. He has a Supreme Court, as Sotomayor said, that he has on speed dial, that is working through a special docket, allowing him to just dismantle the Department of Education and all these agencies without congressional approval. And that big, beautiful bill, what does it do? In addition to adding $3 trillion to the debt and helping billionaires, it gives $180 billion to ICE. ICE will now have 10,000 agents, more private prisons, more detention centers. Folks, those private prisons are hungry. Those detention centers need bodies. Who's going to be in those detention centers? Think about it. And folks, Stephen Miller, who's the shadow president, has already said we're under invasion. He's already said we're under war. That's why he's invoked the Alien Enemies Act. So if things get really, really bad, what do you think he's going to do? If the election reform doesn't work, where, in Texas, he's openly saying this week, I want you to gerrymander to get 5 seats. What do you think he's going to do with 10,000 ICE agents? There you go. I don't want to give him ideas, but I think we might get there, folks. And someone saying he might not live longer. All I'm going to say is I don't think he's leaving voluntarily or willingly. That's all I'm about to say. Folks, there's a kryptonite, though. The kryptonite isn't the insurrection. The kryptonite isn't him unleashing ICE. The kryptonite isn't him basically taking our economy into the shitter. The kryptonite isn't him making sure that no one wants to visit America. The kryptonite is the Epstein controversy. And if I may, let's just sit with this for a second, because it's juicy. I just want to connect the dots for people who don't know. To paraphrase Tropic Thunder, if you know this quote, you know this quote. I can't say it because it's inappropriate, but you never go full conspiracy theorist. You go half conspiracy theorist. You never go full conspiracy theorist. For the past 10 years, MAGA has radicalized their base on one of the most disgusting, abhorrent, sick, filthy conspiracies that we have just normalized because we have done a bullshit, dangerous, both sides framing to elevate and normalize right-wing media. I'm old enough to remember, folks, that someone called you a pedophile, those are fighting words. Even if you never put up your fists, if someone called you a pedophile, you'd fight for the first time. What's worse than being called a pedophile? A murderous pedophile. What's worse than a murderous pedophile? A murderous pedophile who's part of an international sex trafficking ring. What's worse than a murderous pedophile who's part of an international sex trafficking ring? A murderous pedophile who's part of an international sex trafficking ring who worships the devil. And that is a QAnon conspiracy. I say that without any exaggeration. Started 10 years ago with Pizzagate, where a person who wasn't unstable, not crazy, just a regular average Joe, a right-winger, came here 25 minutes from where I live, 20 minutes from where I live. I've been to this pizza parlor before where they play ping pong and, eat pizza. Shows up with a gun and says, I'm here to save the kids. And they're like, sir, this is a pizza parlor. He goes, no, I heard that Clinton and the deep state have kids here. And they're like, there are no kids here. Obviously, the cops came. But he sincerely thought, folks, he wasn't crazy, that the liberals and Clinton were keeping children that they had abducted in the pizza parlor. Why? Because the right wing promoted the Pizzagate conspiracy. Instead of killing that conspiracy, they added on to it with QAnon. QAnon took it to another level and said anybody who opposes MAGA, FBI, law enforcement, judges, media, Mary Trump, me, is part of the deep state. And the deep state is run by, very deliberately done in an anti-Semitic way, the Jews. And the Jews are the nerve center of an international cabal, using people of color and women and libs and the media and LGBTQ people to abduct, have sex with, and kill children. And the only person who can destroy this evil cabal is Donald Trump, which is why Donald Trump has to be elected, so that Donald Trump can cleanse the deep state and the swamp and prove to all of you that the conspiracy was real. And the anchor of the conspiracy, the person who would prove that was all real, was Jeffrey Epstein and the Epstein files. That, my friends, was the smoking gun. And so they promised their base. They promised their base that once we get in power, we will release the Epstein files and show to you that the deep state is real, and show to you that you need to give us this authority, this maximum power, because Donald Trump is the only one willing to take it on. And so they got in power. And the deep state became Kash Patel, the head of the FBI, Dan Bongino, deputy director of the FBI, and Pam Bondi. And Donald Trump became president. And they realized, okay, we got our base, we got our cult, everything will be fine. Oh, shoot, they're still radicalized. They were promised the Epstein files. Okay, let's give them some chum. You, libs of TikTok, and you, Mike Cernovich, and you, someone else, come. Look, we're going to give you binders, and you guys come out with these binders and say you have the files. They did that. But there were cracks, and we talked about it. I think it was Laura Loomer and a few others who said, what's in the binder? And they're like, don't you worry, we got stuff. Then Pam Bondi said, I have the Epstein files on my desk. And then people, MAGA said, well, show us what's in the files. And then a couple of weeks ago, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino said, don't worry, everything is fine. Nothing to see here. It's that famous Naked Gun Leslie Nielsen meme. Nothing to see here. Everything's fine as everything's falling apart. It's all good. He killed himself. And then they're like, whoa, what do you mean? And then Roseanne came out. Once you lose Roseanne, and Tucker Carlson came out, right? And everyone, Laura Loomer came out. And they're like, yo, give us the files. And then last week, Donald Trump, because he can't shut the F up. Can't shut the F up, which is a gift. Yesterday at a cabinet hearing, I think it was the New York Post, who asked Pam Bondi, well, what about the Epstein files? And then Donald Trump, in the greatest example of the Streisand effect, jumped in and brought more attention to it. During the weekend, MAGA's pissed. You got Alex Jones crying in the car. You got Andrew Schultz and the Bros and Joe Rogan saying, hey, man. You got Shane Gillis at the ESPY Awards doing a really great Epstein joke, right? Then Donald Trump turns on his own base earlier this week, calls them his past supporters, calls them weaklings, okay? And now says that the hoax that they promoted is a Democrat hoax. And folks, he's an old man, right? He's an old man who can't come up with the new tricks, so he just plays the old hits. He threw out everything he could. He's desperate. It's a distraction. Hunter Biden. That's not sticking. Obama. Bill Clinton. What else you got? Joe Biden, right? Rosie O'Donnell, right? From the 2005. And Rosie O'Donnell's in Ireland. She goes, bro, and she just totally flamed him last week. Called him, what was that? King Joffrey with the spray tan. It was awesome. Desperate man. Why is he desperate? Because, folks, Jeffrey Epstein said, according to Michael Wolff, who recorded him on audio, we've heard it, that he was once Donald Trump's closest friend. We have video of them partying with each other. We have photos. We know Donald Trump was on the plane, the Epstein plane, right? They were buddies. And so I'm sitting here. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but now I'm like, yo, what are you hiding? Like, what's going on? And then they were going to release the video, but then 1 minute was missing, and now 2 minutes and 50 seconds are missing, but just trust us. And we're like, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, folks, but I'm like, I don't trust you. I think you're hiding something. Like, even me. Now I'm like, now I need to know. Like, I don't trust anything right now. Did he kill himself? Did he not kill himself? Is there a file? Is there a list? And someone's saying it, follow the money. Follow the money. Because Epstein was connected to a lot of rich folks, some banks, and maybe even some countries, folks. And Donald Trump, folks, he looks rattled. On this one issue, he looks rattled. And so yesterday, the reports came out that Wall Street Journal had a letter, and they were going to publish an article showing a letter or talking about the contents of a letter that Donald Trump allegedly wrote to Jeffrey Epstein. That would not make Donald Trump look good. And I believe the reason we found out that Wall Street Journal had this piece was that Wall Street Journal probably leaked it to people in the media that brushed up, the social media fervor. And Donald Trump tried to kill it, folks. Oh, he tried to kill it. He spent the entire day trying to kill it. He called the editor of Wall Street Journal, but they ran with it. And here it is. Jeffrey Epstein's friends sent him body letters for a 50th birthday album. One was from Donald Trump, where apparently there was a drawing of a naked woman, and Donald Trump then, wrote like a love letter to him, and signed it off in a very cryptic way. And then Donald Trump said, "You know me, I don't do drawings." And then people are like, "Actually, you're really good at drawings." And there were photos of his drawings that have come out. I don't use the word enigma. And then in his book, they said, "Nope. Here's Aaron Blake found him using the word enigma," right? And if there was nothing here, folks, why would he spend the entire day trying to kill the story? This was a 2003 letter Trump wrote to Epstein for his 50th birthday with a naked woman silhouette and a line that read, the final line, "May every day be another wonderful secret." Wall Street Journal, that flaming leftist rag. Oh, that Wall Street Journal run by Rupert Murdoch published this piece. I want people to connect the dots. It's the right wing that is going after Donald Trump. All right, this is important. It isn't corporate media. It isn't the institutions. Painful for me to listen to Nancy Pelosi yesterday. I don't know if you saw Nancy Pelosi in the media. She came out and she's like, "We should focus on bread and butter issues." And I'm like, "Nancy, I love you. Time to retire. You're not built for this fight. You're not made for this moment. Time to retire." And another part of me said, "Nancy, read the room. This is the one thing that is weakening Donald Trump. His own base is turning on him." And she goes, "We shouldn't concentrate on this." I'm like, "You should concentrate all on this. Pile on." I'm not saying that, it'll completely move away MAGA from Donald Trump, but this is a major weakness. You pile on. But Nancy Pelosi said, this is a distraction. Nancy Pelosi, God bless you. Joe Biden, God bless you. Clyburn, God bless you. You're not built for this fight. You're not made for this moment. I'm going to repeat this. You are not built for this fight. You're not made for this moment. For the love of God, retire. You're all wealthy people. You do not understand MAGA. You do not understand how to fight them. You do not understand how they think. I was talking to Lev Parnas yesterday, who a former Trump fixer who went to jail, much like Cohen. He agreed with me. He goes, "I don't want to shit on the Democrats. I want unity, but they don't know MAGA. They don't know how they're built." I can say it. I will shit on the Democratic establishment because we're independent. When they do good, I'll say good things. There's a reason why the DNC has its lowest favorability rating is because of shit like this, where Nancy Pelosi literally comes out and says, we should focus on other things. And I think that all of us here are like, quoting Ken Watanabe from Godzilla, let them fight. All right, let them fight. So Wall Street Journal, and yeah, maybe, listen, folks, Bill Gates' wife, in her interview with Gayle King about 2 weeks ago, Gayle King asked her, was the reason why you divorced because of Epstein, Bill Gates' relationship with Epstein? And she said that was one of the reasons, not the main reason, but yes, one of the reasons was my disagreements with his friendship with Epstein. There are a lot of powerful people in there, all right? And Alan Dershowitz, who was Epstein's lawyer, said he wants the release of the Epstein files if they exist because he thinks it'll exonerate him. And he says there's some powerful people. What I say is, I don't care if there's liberals on there, Democrats, philanthropists, Republicans. I don't care. Get all those names out there. And if it is shown that these people were complicit and or in some way preying on women or helping Epstein, burn them to the ends of the earth. That is Wajahat Ali speaking, only Wajahat Ali. I couldn't care less who's on it, right? So, Wall Street Journal comes out. Donald Trump's pissed. He goes on Truth Social, gets really pissed off. Conspiracy theory, conspiracy theory, conspiracy theory, hoax, hoax, hoax. But then he gives some chum. He gives more chum to the base. And the chum that he gives to the base is the following, folks. The chum is he has his Attorney General, Pam Bondi, say that she's going to release grand jury transcripts in the Epstein case, pending court approval. The pertinent information after days of pressure. And as of 5 p.m. today, the government has officially filed a motion to unseal the transcripts. Reuters writes, in a filing in Manhattan federal court, the Department of Justice said the criminal cases against Epstein and his former associate Ghislaine Maxwell, who somehow is the only person in prison, are a matter of public interest, justifying the release of grand jury transcripts. Folks, people aren't that stupid. Grand jury transcripts, just the tip of the iceberg, right? I want the 300 interviews. I want the videos. I want the photos. He thinks he can buy some time. I'm telling you, this is going to be a distraction. I've been following MAGA for a long time. I'm a masochist. They're not going to be fooled by this. They're not going to be fooled by it. It is juicy. Lexi saying 5 minutes to 6:40. No biggie. Take your time. Just letting you know. I was only supposed to speak for 30 minutes. Are you all with me? Are you bored? If you're not, we have another story for you. You still going? Let's do it. Here's proof that MAGA is actually MAGA's kryptonite. That Epstein might be Trump's kryptonite. Might not take him down, but I'm talking about wedges. You have to slow down a fascist regime. Death by 1,000 cuts. Donald Trump mocked his own base. Donald Trump stabbed his own base in the back. They've been waiting 10 years, folks. This is a big deal for them. Never go full conspiracy theorist, because now Donald Trump, by mocking his own base as past supporters and as weaklings and as idiots, basically, that's what he's calling them. They're not that dumb. He's even lost a Nazi, the Nazi Nick Fuentes, that same man who dined with Donald Trump and Kanye West a couple of years ago. The same man that Donald Trump has refused to condemn because he knows Nazis and white supremacists are part of his base. We have to play this clip. This is Nick Fuentes.
Now he says if you're not on board with the Epstein cover-up, oh, I don't want your support. You're a weakling. Fuck you. Fuck you. You suck. You are fat. You are a joke. You are stupid. You are not funny. You are not as smart as you think you are. You are, and honestly, and if you watch my show, you know I've been very critical. I've never been this far. This just goes to show this entire thing has been a scam. When we look back on the history of populism in America, we are going to look back on the MAGA movement as the biggest scam in American history. And the liberals were right. The MAGA supporters were had. They were.
I hate Donald Trump. I hate MAGA. I hate this timeline because they have me agreeing with a Nazi. Like, I want to throw up in my mouth, right? Because I'm sitting there thinking, Nick Fuentes, you're a Nazi, you're a horrible person. You're on point right now. The same thing happened to me a couple of weeks ago with Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene when it came to Donald Trump being dog-walked by Netanyahu, a war criminal, and striking Iran and their protest against it. And I'm like, I hate this timeline that I'm agreeing with mother effing Tucker Carlson and his takedown of Ted Cruz and Marjorie Taylor Greene. They're still terrible folks, okay? But notice, it's MAGA that is on the offensive. It is MAGA that is going all out. And our corporate institutions are bending the knee. And some members, not all, some members of the Democratic establishment are bending the knee. Others like Ossoff, I think Wyden, Ro Khanna, among others, are laser focused on this. Raskin, that's smart. Widen the divide, right? Just weaken them. That's all you got to do. I'm not saying it's a haymaker, but this is a significant rift. He has lost the Nazi Nick Fuentes, the same man he dined with. But don't you worry, with MAGA, once you lose a Nazi, you can always pick up another one. Play it, Lexi.
This is why the criticism doesn't matter to us when you call us Nazis, Nazi this, Nazi that. You know, I'm beginning to think they don't like us. You know what? I've said this before. We need to learn from the blacks. The way they were able to remove the power from the N-word by using it. So from now on, it's what up, my Nazi? Hey, what up, my Nazi? Oh my God. Hey, what's hanging, my Nazi?
Nazi, please.
Thank God you did a hard eye there.
Hard eye on Nazi, please. That was Fox 2 days ago. I believe this clip should go viral, but there's been so much chaos that it's kind of died. That's Greg Gutfield. And some people were just throwing out there today that Paramount might replace Stephen Colbert with Gutfield. Gutfield, who has a late night show and also is the host of The Five. Folks, I wonder if Sherry Redstone will address him with, "What's up, my Nazi?" You could probably hear my fire alarm if you can. I'm sorry about that. But apparently the fire alarm is going off right now, so I apologize. They're cooking something, but everything's okay. Folks, we have to follow that up with some good news, some emotional catharsis, and this is your moment of emotional support. We're going to see two cute cats watching Tom and Jerry. Catharsis. Someone said I was on fire. Thank you for the compliment. No, they were just cooking something, and apparently there was some smoke, so everything is now fine. Independent media, folks. This is what you get. Thank you to Lexi for that fantastic moment of catharsis, because once you talk about Nazis for 5 minutes in a row, you need to see two cute cats watching cats. Folks, we have about 6,400 people watching us today. Thank you so much. This is Mary Trump's live show. Mary Trump will be back next week, I promise. But first, I need to give a shout out to this community. I was with Mary as she started her YouTube channel. I saw her go from 0 to 50,000 to 100,000. And now I think there's almost like 450,000. So we're trying to get her to 500,000 subscribers. We thought it was impossible last year. So you're all part of the Mary Trump's community. You know, you all might know me. I used to do Nerd Avengers with her. Hopefully we'll bring it back in some capacity. Mary will be back. I've been Brown Mary, folks. And this independent channel really can only survive thanks to your generosity. We're like Blanche Dubois. We depend on the kindness of strangers. We do have no corporate overlords. There are no corporate money. We don't bend the knee to anyone. So I want to give a shout out to all the super stickers, right? These are folks who are watching us right now on YouTube. And underneath the video, you see that circle with the ... If you click it, you'll see a $sign. It's tips. These are folks who give us tips. We got a new member, Teresa. We got Kathy Alt, new member. Thank you. Dorothy with $3. Nice models. All right, thank you. That's the Millennium Falcon. We got the Razor Crest. Thank you for noticing my Lego. If Lego helps us get tips, I'll build more. Zelia with $2. John, good man. I have donated monthly to NPR PBS for years. Support them, folks. We need it. Denise, I'm on disability, but I donate $5 a month to my local PBS station. I'm going to see if I could afford to double that to $10. Denise, that is awesome. Thank you so much. Annette, feel better, Mary, $10 to buy her some expensive coffee. Waj, I may be evil, but I love the birthday letter in the Wall Street Journal. I loved it too. You're not evil. We all get to enjoy the good things in life. Anything that smacks Donald in the face is awesome. I completely agree, Donna. I loved it too. Anything to mock a fascist to bring him down a peg. Laugh at him, mock him. Fascists always hate being laughed at. Stephanie, I could listen to you talk forever. Your mind is amazing. You have excellent taste. Thank you. Games Hark. This isn't a conspiracy theory. We're following the evidence. We don't believe there's a PDF ring in the non-existent basement of a pizza restaurant. Exactly. I've been to that pizza restaurant in DC. There's just pizza and ping pong tables, folks. Donna gave another $10. You're on fire, Donna. Thank you so much. Pam says, get better. Well, member for 1 month. Hey, Pam, come back for a second month. Epstein's victims weren't women. They were children. You're correct. Thank you so much. Children. He preyed on children. And let's never forget that, folks. Epstein has victims. It's a web of victims. These women are scarred. One woman killed herself. These were underage girls. They were young women and girls who they preyed on and whom they tried to destroy. And these women couldn't come out because when they did try to come out, no one would believe them. And even the police didn't do anything. And he got a sweetheart deal in Florida. And who gave him that sweetheart deal? Alex Acosta, Trump's labor secretary, where he could report to jail once a week. And he was free for 6 days a week, where he continued molesting underage girls. Thank you for that correction. It's important. It's important we always focus there were real life victims who were harmed and people who have died. Cindy just canceled my subscription to NYT. We'll take that $10, Cindy. Lynette, Trump's minions are going to fake the files as soon as they can figure out how to do it and not get caught. They'll try, Lynette, but this one, I think they've radicalized part of their base. You know why? Because their base loves money more than anything. Once you create the monster and feed the monster 24/7 rage meat, the monster gets addicted to rage meat. And they need money. And they're going to lose the base, the ratings, the viewers. So what's the one thing they love more than Trump? Money. They don't want to lose the ratings, the money, and they don't want to radicalize their base to go after them. So this is why I think we should keep our eye on this. That's why I think the Epstein file, just drive it nonstop. Watch him combust. $10 for watching Kinnons watch Tom and Jerry cuteness. I'll take it. $10 for Linda. $10 for Beans. Thank you for everything you all do on this channel. Thank you to Lexi, the DJ Lexi, who helped me, and Mercedes. It's a team that does this, folks. I wish it was just me. Pam gave 10. Avac gave 10. Katrine gave 10. Bert gives 10. Lisa, new member. Hello. Canada. Glories Canada. Thank you, D-Bid. Cheryl with the $20. Thank you so much. Zilly, new member. And Nick with the thank you watch. Thank you all for watching. We really appreciate it. It's been a fantastic show. We'll be back on Monday, right, Lexi? Monday, 6 p.m. Inshallah, Mary will be back. This was a live episode of Mary Trump Live. It's on Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. folks on Eastern time. I'll have a link up on my Substack. I write for the Left Hook. If you haven't subscribed, everything is for free. It's theleft.hook.substack.com. If you have a few bucks, give it. If you don't, I do not believe in paywalls. I'm like Blanche Dubois. I depend on the kindness of strangers. Thank you for all the mods. Folks, relax. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your friends. Exhale. And if things get really, really bad, watch some cats. Or better yet, adopt a cat and pet it. We'll see you next week. Until then, be kind, be empathetic, and don't be a fascist. Take care.